Guys, what's going on? I'm with my boy Travis Mash from mashelite.com, and I just texted Travis and he said, "Hey, bro, let's let's do this right now." I said, "Perfect." Right before I get my kids to school, so we're going to do a real short discussion on the power clean, not the snatch, not weightlifting exercises, however people want to coin it, Olympic lifting, and the reason is. We do the power clean with our athletes, not all of them. You train the junior weightlifting team. You got
Right,
some of the best guys in the world. I mean, these kids are just tremendously crushing it.
right.
But you also train guys that have gone on to Division One. You got guys in the pros for football. So we're going to talk about some differences. So here's the backstory. We're going to jump right into it. So somebody saw me doing like a heavy power clean, looked more like a muscle clean, and or people saw it on Facebook. Like the
Right.
comments was like, that power clean sucks. Don't ever show that, right? So I, I'm like laughing, and I'm like, damn, dude, that first of all, just it makes me laugh. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I never like go on somebody's Facebook and do that. I'm like, Travis Mash doesn't do it. Like, but people are telling
Nobody
Brand,
does that.
people
Yeah.
telling Brandon Lilly, hey, dude, you ain't squatting right. And it's like, what the hell? Who, like, the people are just delusional. So there's still, for the good people out there, there's still a lot of confusion with should we do weightlifting or not. And what I want to kind of give them in a pretty quick, we're going to keep it to 15 minutes, is like these two schools, meaning as an independent strength coach, I always tell people, I go, look, we will have an athlete for 3 months, 3 years, 7 years, 9 years, since years. Some of them come and go. You don't always have people on the same page. Whereas when I was at Lehigh, or any collegiate strength coach, or down by you guys down south, there's high school strength coaches. So they have this, they could develop a plan, an annual
Right.
plan, a 4-year plan.
Big difference. Yeah.
Yes, so there's a big difference in kind of how I'm going to program at that level. I remember Joe Ken saying, between all the colleges he was at, he's like, we used to power clean and snatch. He's like, then, I just went to high pulls. Then I just went to block pulls. Then I came back to the power clean. So we're evolving. So here's my take is as an independent, you can't teach it just like you don't have this time to teach it because you understand people are going to stay, but you never know if they're going to leave. Meaning, I'm looking for a couple basic things on a power clean.
Right.
I'm looking for them to get like that jump shrug action, shoulders to ears, elbow punch. Um,
Perfect.
if we don't do the power clean, let's say I cycle it in for a month and like we don't power clean for 2 weeks because then we move to maybe a dumbbell snatch, a dumbbell clean and press. They lose some of that skill on it. But I've learned the big plus to that power clean is the benefit. I remember the kids saying, I just feel like an animal because I'm ripping that weight off the ground. I'm ripping it off the ground. So there was this psychological component to it.
Right.
Do my
Right.
guys look like your guys when they're power cleaning? No. Our guys, first of all, don't do a clean. They don't do a full clean. They don't squat under it. There's so
Right.
many like mobility issues, and really the majority of our kids, we see them twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. Then they got sports skills, school, this, that. They're not that dedicated to the mobility and really the
Right.
weightlifting
I see my
lifestyle.
kids 9 times a week.
Okay, you see them 9 times a week.
Right.
Talk to me about what about the athletes that you've worked with, like Tommy Bohannon? He's with the
The
Jets, and then
the
the kid
fullback. Yeah.
who's at Wake right now is that
Cade.
Cade.
Cade Carney. Yeah.
How many times a week did Cade train with you?
Like you, 3 to 4. There was right before he went to Wake, he did do 5 days a week, but that was for like 1 month, and I was just like we got to get you ready to go to work. So, and if you watch Cade or Tommy do a clean, it's not going to look like Nathan Damron or Dylan Cooper. They're not going to look like an Olympic weightlifter. And that's when the Olympic weightlifting purist coach, gets on your thing and talks junk, and that's ridiculous. People do that to me, Zach, about my weightlifters. And I'm like, wait, now, the last I checked, my guys are, wait, you don't even have any guys at the Nationals. So who are you talking to? So they
Yep.
do it to me too, man. It's just like without even knowing any kind of background. Like, what's this athlete? Is he a wrestler? Like, if he's a wrestler, here's the thing: as long as he gets full extension and as long as he catches it safely, there's a
Yep.
benefit to the lift.
Yep.
So, and, I don't know, man. These weightlifting purist coaches, and I'm in the sport, and so I'm around them all the time. But I just wrote an article about Louis Simmons. They wrecked him because he wrote a book on Olympic weightlifting. They
Yep.
just ripped it apart. I read 10 pages and wrote 1,500 words of awesome things to
I,
say.
I just saw you post that, so I will link that up in this blog post.
Cool.
I think that's the best coach. You're just open minded. You're like
Right.
you're just constantly learning. Meaning, I could see like we'll have a group of guys after the last cert we did together. I remember teaching my guys to do the full clean. There
Right.
was probably just over 50% could get it. The others, I mean, they're so tight from the years of sports specialization. I said, we'll just power clean with you. And
Yeah.
look, then we got some guys. It's like, dude, for us to do the power clean with you, I need you to come in here another 2 days a week on your own. And that whole workout is just power clean technique.
I know. I
So
agree,
that
man.
kid might, yeah.
I've only had one. I've had one major injury in my gym, and I've been training athletes for, nearly 20 years. I'm 43 now, and I've had one big one. And the one big injury was a full clean, and the guy's elbow got caught in his knee, and it broke
That's,
his wrist. And
yes.
so I'm like, I don't even do. You'll be. Here's what's. I'm gonna drop this bomb on everyone. I'm one of the best weightlifting coaches in America, and I don't even have my athletes do full cleans. I don't do power cleans because it's not worth the risk. That's not their sport. Only guys like, the special super duper guys like Tommy Bohannon and Cade Carney do full cleans because it's just not worth it hurting an athlete.
So
So,
it's like, yeah. So we could have this group of athletes training. It's like, hey, Johnny and Jimmy and Joey, you guys are going to do a full clean.
right,
Travis and Zach, you guys are power cleaning. And
right.
then whatever, like Johnny Jr., Jimmy, you guys are going to do sandball shouldering. You're
Or
doing
clean pulls.
yeah,
Just
or
do
a
a
clean
pull.
pull, or this guy's
Yeah,
taking a weight aggressively from ground to shoulder to
that's fine.
rack. And
That's
it's
fine.
like, well, yeah, we're getting the job. What I try to say to coaches, if I have one sentence say, is I go, guys, the difference between Johnny and Jimmy being all American or just all state is not whether one could do a full clean or not.
Absolutely
And
not.
what I've learned is there's exercises that boost the mind. And the
Right.
power clean, I'll never forget. I always told you about that kid Nathan from Lehigh. Nate, he was a two-time All-American. I remember when we started power cleaning and just like carrying the kegs, he would say stuff like, dude, I felt, he's like, I hulked that weight. I hulked it. And I saw how it like made him feel,
Right.
just strong and powerful. Or the guys would say, dude, I feel like I'm lifting guys. I'm popping guys. So I learned what exercises feed their mind.
Right.
And then I moved towards those. But then there's some kids, for weightlifting, you guys, I remember seeing you guys come in, your guys come in, they're doing their mobility, they're stretching, they're getting under the bar, they're mobilizing under the bar. Our guys, it's like they're sitting in a car for 30 minutes on the way to the gym. We warm them up, we mobilize, but we have more things to do than the power clean to attack this and that. And plus, a sport athlete often doesn't have the discipline to repeatedly do just variations of the weightlifting
I
exercises.
agree.
Like they say something like, dude, didn't we just squat 2 weeks in a row? It's like, yeah, bro, but you throw a football for 3 months in a row when you're in season, or you shoot a basketball several
Yeah.
hundred times and you jump, and they don't get that with weightlifting. So I trick them with, we're going to power clean for 3 weeks. Then it's going to be maybe dumbbell snatch for 3 weeks. They lose a little skill of one to the next, but I keep
They
them
have
fired
fun
up to
too.
train hard. Yeah, they got to
Right.
have fun.
Man, dude, I know several coaches who didn't use weightlifting at all. They didn't use cleans. They've used, squats and box jumps, and they produce Division One and pro athletes. Then somebody might say, well, if they'd used weightlifting, they might have been even better. Who's to know? maybe the guy that you taught weightlifting, if he'd have just done that program, he'd have been better. Here's the thing: is that this is just guessing. We're all just guessing.
Yes.
But the thing is, if your athletes are doing good and they're getting their results on the team, it doesn't matter. Like if you get them to clean 400 pounds and they start sucking in football, you didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You did nothing. So, but if you took that athlete who wasn't starting last year, this year he's starting and making all conference. Now that's where the proof's in the pudding. And we both know your athletes get better every single year. Your wrestlers would rip someone's head off. So that person who's talking junk to you about the power clean, come wrestle one of your boys and see what happens.
Or I just say, look, you're looking at one exercise.
Yeah.
Make it come, like, train with us. Train with these kids. Like, their ability for their motor to never shut off. And then the other thing is, sometimes, I know you've seen it, and I remember the first time it really hit me was when I was taking my guys up to Joe DeFranco's place for the strongman challenges.
Right.
He had a guy that was just destroying everything, destroying it. And I said, and Joe had some of the NFL guys there, and he was part of that group. I said, what teams looking to draft him? He goes, nobody. He goes, he's one of those guys that just destroys the weight room, but can't seem to get it together on the football field. Or I think it was social life. Like he was just having he just couldn't get his life in a position where the NFL could say, we could trust this guy to do it. And I explained that in this video that I just made, like, why do we do the power clean or not? One kid that we had was very tight, like in the weight room. Like if you came in and watched like 10, 15 guys lifting, you wouldn't be like, that kid's an animal. Yet he was a little bit slower than everybody, a little less mobile. He was kind of middle of the road with his strength and power. He was like right there. He wasn't a standout, and he wasn't like the guy standing out lagging or succeeding. But he never lost in high school. He just took fourth I only trained him for 2 years, but he was so technical and he was so tough that I knew that the training had to feed his inner warrior, and that's what gave him the advantage to perform at a high level.
Enough, man, you read all these books and they're all talking about the technical attributes of snatch, clean and jerk. Like they do this perfect, they'll do this. Man, what they forget about is mindset and changing an athlete's mindset, getting him to do goal setting, getting him just to believe in himself. They never talk about that because they can't coach that and they know it. It takes a guy like you to take a dude like that who's already really good and say you can do even better. And like he's around you all the time, and that positive influence makes him just absolutely unbeatable. Who cares? Snatch, clean and jerk aside, it doesn't matter. We've all been, anyone who's played collegiate athletes knows that guy who dominated the weight room and was a fluff on the field. And so,
or vice versa,
man. And so
they've got that competitive fire. They know how to they're not killers when they're practicing or training, but then they know how to flip the switch. And then the coaches are going to say, well, that's what we need them to do. We need them to compete, not kill it in the gym or, all right, in the practice room. But,
perfectly in a perfect, scenario, it's good to do both. But like Cade is the guy who does both. I went and watched him in the spring game, and he's not even a real freshman yet. He went there early, and in the spring game he was dominating people.
Yeah,
just from his power. He's a running back, and he's just a monster.
Yes,
in Division I, and he's either going to be starting or playing a lot at running back. But it really looked like he's going to get that number one spot. So,
and that's not what's Wake Forest, ACC or
ACC? Yeah. Division I, ACC.
No, there's no mess around. So let's close out with this. We see an athlete power cleaning. Things that I know I don't want to look for is I don't want to see them leaning back and doing the jumping jack wide leg. I basically want to see like a deadlift coming into that jump shrug or the clean pull, boom, elbow punch. And what I go, guys, I want you to deadlift, and I want you to get that jump shrug in one motion, and I want you to elbow punch, and I want your elbows to face the wall.
That'd be good.
That simple.
Yeah, that'd be good. Athletic stance.
Yep.
Keep it. The feet might start under the hips, and they jump to the shoulders. So that's athletic.
What's your I remember you saying something during one of our seminars together, like 1 foot out they could go, or did you have something like you
No,
said?
it just goes from hip to shoulder,
Yes.
about the distance of a foot. Yeah. And so you don't want to go too much. It might vary a few inches either way, but like because everybody's hips are a little different, but it won't vary too much. That's a good rule of thumb. Yeah,
Cool.
man. Like was it Coach Ken says, jump, shrug, punch. Like
Yes.
like
Simple.
push through the floor. Shrug at the top, punch with the elbows.
And he knows it. He
That's
says,
fine.
he's like, look, man, when you eat, he goes, he told me when he got to the NFL, he's like, okay, we're squatting today. And somebody's like, Coach, I don't put no weight on my back. He's like, well, what do you do? We got a leg press here. We can kettlebell squat. I leg press, Coach. Well, let's leg press today. It's
That's
like,
what he told me.
get the
Yeah.
job done,
Yeah.
and that was a big, I'm always paying attention to these conversations because I want to soak it in and I want to apply it. So that made me more flexible when he said, these guys sometimes they don't do that. And it reminded me of when I was training athletes out of my garage. The football players trained together, but I had a guy 6'4" and a guy 5'4", so they didn't back squat. So they would do heavy trap bar deadlift, trap bar shrug, sandbag squat, heavy lunge, heavy step up, Zercher
Perfect.
squat. And I remember saying, like, man, I was a newer strength coach. I was like, I might be messing these kids up. We're not back squatting because, Ryan can't get under that rack because Jimmy's so short. And it was like,
Yeah.
it didn't make a difference. They all went on to play college ball. And
There you have it.
they're,
That's the proof.
yeah, they went college ball, and what's so funny is they graduated high school, I think, 10 years ago, maybe more. Their names are still the guys on the wall for, like, the best squat, bench, power clean. And but I always say, I go, look, I've also had guys that could squat, bench, power clean very much, but they can't move. So I'm looking for movement. But
Right.
this is the one thing I've got to say is with the power clean, a big reason why I like it is because if we said it, oh, this is a complex movement, it is. It requires them to be committed to learning the technique, to not rushing through, to having mental discipline. And there's a lot to be said, about teaching an athlete a
Right.
complex movement. Are you coachable? Some kids will say, dude, today we're not going to power clean with you. Next workout, show up 20 minutes early. We're going to do power cleans with the bar. Then we'll add a 10. Then we'll add a 10.
Right.
And if that kid argues with me, I go, bro, I need you to be coachable. I need you to trust me. And this is not going to be the difference maker. And we had a kid yesterday showed up 20 minutes early. He power cleaned for 20 minutes. He's got it. Now he's going to go with the
Perfect.
group.
Man, the big difference maker is just get them stronger and then, do plyometrics. You don't have to do weightlifting, And so if a guy just can't get it, just do strength movements and
Jumping,
plyometrics.
throwing,
Right.
sprinting. I didn't start
Right.
doing the power clean till I went to, I think, 2 of your seminars.
Right.
And then I also, every time we did our seminar together, when you taught weightlifting, I did it.
I know, yeah.
To
Every
learn.
time.
So cool, man. This was a great conversation.
Yeah, brother.
Mashelite.com is the hub.
That's right.
And Travis is the man. And also, for the parents out there watching, you're in, because now it's a nonprofit. What's the town your gym is in North Carolina?
It's in Clemens, North Carolina now. So it's like in between it's right beside of Winston-Salem. It's like right on the outskirts of
Awesome.
Winston-Salem. Yeah.
Cool. Well, this has
All
been
right, brother.
awesome. I got to make lunch and take the kids to school.
I got to do the same thing, man. Well, not take it to school, but I got to make breakfast.
You're the best, brother. Thanks so
All right,
much.
man.
I'll see you later.
See ya.
Peace.